Hello, thanks for joining me, Geeks, Gamers and Grapplers. My name's Danny Damage, you're watching Putting It Bluntly for WrestleMania Backlash 2021. It's been a good 3 years since I've been on YouTube. I've been keeping busy over on dannydamage.co.uk. Head over there, check out lots of articles, stuff to read. I've also been working very recently with Geeks and Gamers. Every Thursday, I put out That's Not Wrestling, which is a look at AEW and how we're promised a serious sports-based product. We're promised new, exciting things. Not just an alternative to WWE, but people were expecting something very, very, very amazing. But didn't happen. Thanks very much. Let's go check that out every Thursday on geeksandgamers.com. I also do another week of wrestling on a Monday, which is a roundup of the previous week, not just with AEW, but everybody else. Okay, and that brings us back to Backlash. Where to begin? Yeah, Thunderdome, you're getting it first. Get rid of it. Please, please, please get rid of it. Look at that mess. You try and watch wrestling, you see all those faces, all those arms, it's sensory sexual assault. That is just terrible. Get rid of it. The visual's bad enough, but then you've got the audio. All you can hear is Cole screaming or different fans. It all sounds so plastic and so predetermined. I didn't think it could get any worse. It's a good idea if you're putting it into the video games. If you want fans to be in the crowd for the video games, recording them now, getting the little database that they're building, that's alright. But in the live, just get rid of them. Get the NXT guys back into cheer. I know there's less people, but this is awful. The Bianca Belair and the Drew chants and the holy shit chant you heard later on, they sound so forced. It's like watching a really bad sitcom where they've got the soundboard and you can tell. Yeah, please, I know it cost a lot of money and it's cost a lot more money to run, but it's the last thing we need now. It's rough. So, the first match on the card was Charlotte Flair versus Ripley versus Asaka. It went off to a fast start with all asses hitting each other with everything they had. Triple threat matches are usually, someone's just there to eat the pin. Sadly, it was Asaka. It was the veteran. She should be the salty, grizzled veteran by this point, but instead they've got her clowning around. I didn't like how they went from the moonsault, Charlotte's top rope moonsault, to the outside, and then about 3 seconds later, they were just already into the next spot already, getting ready for a superplex. They ran through it. It could have been better. Some of the moves where you do a moonsault to 2 people, and it's just halving the power, and it looks silly, and it just adds to the argument not to bother with triple threats. But they can be done well, and some parts of this were exciting. Asaka was obviously there to eat the pin. Charlotte and Rhea's where the future is. So let's just see what happens next. Apologies to any... Well, actually, no, I'm not really sorry, but if you like these Funkos, I don't know what's wrong with your head. Look at them. That's just... They're grim. They're lazy. A lot of money. Next up, we've got the Dirty Dogs versus Rey and Dominic Mysterio. The Dirty Dogs attacked Dominic Mysterio before, so it just left with a 2-on-1 disadvantage to Rey. Rey fought them off. Rey did his usual Jackie Chan in his pyjamas, his superhero pyjamas, sorry. About 20 minutes too long. Eventually Dominic came down and tagged himself in, and they ended up winning, which I feel sorry for Bobby Roode. That frog splash that Dominic gave was shite. Absolute flat as a plate of piss, as someone would say. The commentary team really drove home the fact that these two lads are the first father and son tag team champions ever, and pretty much instantly once one of them gets the microphone, they repeat that. So just more examples of force feeding from the WWE. You can't just let anything happen naturally, and people realise this themselves. I think Dominic Mysterio is wasted as a face. This isn't like Bob Orton bringing his kid into work. Dominic doesn't have the same natural ability as Rey does. He's not very good doing Rey's moves. Like I say, that frog splash was god-awful. Maybe turn him heel in a month or two. Have him work a more grounded, methodical sort of style. Because he's 24 now. If it's not come to him that quickly, that naturally, by now we should maybe try something a bit different. Not being rude, but that's just how it is. For fuck's sake. Next up, we've just... Zack Snyder has a new zombie film coming out, or it's out. I really don't care that much. I'm here to watch wrestling. I know we need some adverts, but this is just... we spend more time on those people's makeup than just putting over any of the talent WWE has to offer, or the company itself, or the business. It's... Look, Pat McGuinness just doesn't know what to do, and it's just one of those... Another case where WWE only care about money, and I get that you need some money to pay the bills. I get that, but you need balance. leave you to look at that. This is something I've said for a while. Vince is never... I can't recall Vince ever wearing the KFC Colonel outfit, like many of his talent have done. I can't see him messing about, having to sell shit like that. Look at the zombies in the back row. Just, I'm here for wrestling. Bayley and Bianca Belair had the match of the night, in my opinion. Been a nice straightforward one-on-one contest opposed to the triple threat earlier on. They've got much better chemistry as well, and the feud looks to be continuing, so I'm all in favour for that. Bianca Belair's springboard waste of motion. Yeah, she does a springboard and then a moonsault, and it's just one of those things where just because you can doesn't mean you should. It looks too much. It looks a bit unrealistic. Apart from that, it was a fantastic match. We've got a very good face and heel dynamic. Bayley's brilliant. She has no problem making herself look like a tit, putting people over. She did have an out at the end of this because Bianca Belair used her hair to trap Bayley's legs together when she got the pin, so Bayley's got plenty to be salty about. Speaking of salty, there's a nice little bit where Bayley's pulling at the earrings of Bianca Belair as well as pulling her hair, getting in the way of the referee, using her feet on the ropes. Just, yeah, this one's worth a watch. And even though she lost, Bayley's still the best in the business, so there's always that. Next up, triple threat match between three giant sweaty bits of meat battering the absolute piss out of each other: Braun Strowman, Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley was fortunate enough to pick up the win at the end after Drew did all the heavy lifting and knocked Strowman out. Lashley just ran in, hit a spear. It was a good match. If you like seeing the staging getting knocked out, electricity blowing up and everyone hitting high impact moves, and all three of them were jumping off daft shit. Just fortunate enough, everyone's strong enough to catch everybody else in this one. And Strowman did seem to want to land on his head a few times, so I hope he hasn't got concussed himself or anything daft. Yeah, thanks but no thanks. I'm not taking advice from Vince McMahon about what to jab in my arm with a needle. Next. Main event time, and we've been looking forward to Cesaro main eventing in a title match for a long time now. So he finally got a chance to shine. Roman Reigns is really good as a heel. He's a natural. He's just a pompous prick. But he can back it up because he's a meathead, he's tough. The only thing I will say is I do like bits of his talking in the matches, but he's getting a bit too much like he's trying to be like The Rock in the ring, and he's not coming off like The Rock. He's coming off as like a heelish version of his suffering succotash moments, and I want to stay well away from that. After a hard battle, Cesaro ended up passing out. He'd had his arm worked on. Every time he tried to use his own strength against Roman, his right arm kept giving in, and he just got caught too many times in that guillotine. After the match, for some reason, Seth Rollins, and I don't know what they're doing with Seth Rollins. 1 minute he's like Jim Jones. The next is like a shit version of the Joker that's just been kicked out of art class. I'm really not sure what they're doing with Seth. I'm guessing being a dad, he's maybe not doing the best to him. He's lost his marbles. He came down and beat the absolute shit out of Cesaro as well, so they're going to continue their feud. And that was the end of the show. In general, it was a good event. I didn't like the zombies. The zombies were terrible. There's a time and a place. The video games, that would have been okay. Put that sort of shit in the story mode on one of the games. It doesn't work in television. WWE are under the impression that just because they spent all this money on cameras and production quality, they think they're making films, and they're not. It's wrestling. It's different. Primarily it's for a live audience, and then the camera is filming that as a secondary measure. But the primary purpose is like the stage. I think that's the problem. A lot of people that make wrestling have never been to the actual theatre, because what they think is the theatre is the cinema, not the actual theatre, which has a stage and live action people where you're having to worry about which way you're facing. So a lot of people struggle with the camera work, and it's just messy, and they forget what they're making. And anyway, that's enough for me this week. Please go over to geeksandgamers.com and check out everything they have to offer, whether into games, comics, films, TV, sport, got the lot. Especially go over there on a Thursday where you can see That's Not Wrestling, I write. Looking at AEW, let's see what we can pick apart this week. Every Monday for another week of wrestling, just rounding up the news. DannyDamage.co.uk where you can see all my personal stuff. And if you like the music that you heard at the beginning, the band of The Call of Fire, the song is All These Ghosts. I'll put a link in the description. And enjoy.